The Adventures of Man Sponge and Boy Patrick and What Were You Shrinking? Chapter 7, Zap, Part 2. Squidward dropped the phone's receiver as he flew up in the air and landed on a chopping block next to a knife and a tomato. He was tiny. What did you do to me? He cried. The phone bonked Squidward on the head as it fell down. He could hear Mermaid Man saying, "Hello? Hello?" SpongeBob hung up the phone and said sadly, "I'm sorry, Squidward, but you made me do it." Squidward pointed his tentacle at SpongeBob angrily. "SpongeBob, if you don't return me to normal size right now, you are going to be in really, really big trouble." SpongeBob grasped Mermaid Man's belt nervously. Okay. He had no idea how to unshrink Squidward. "I said now!" Squidward yelled. SpongeBob said, staring down at the controls on the belt. There were buttons of all shapes, colors, and sizes. There were complicated switches and dials. And he had no idea what any of them did. "Do you hear me?" Squidward shouted as loud as he could. Holding his breath, SpongeBob pushed a button. He hoped it would return Squidward to his normal size. Zap! Ah! Squidward shrieked. He looked like he had 100 eyes, and there were tiny snakes growing out of his head. "Holy fish paste! Get it off me!" he screeched. "Get it off me!" Squidward grabbed the clump of eyes and snakes and tossed it away. He was breathing hard. "Don't you know how to work that thing?" he gasped. SpongeBob tried to look confident. I can do it," he claimed uncertainly. He picked another button and pressed it. Zap! Squidward's nose grew until it was the size of his whole body. Zap! His nose shrank, but now his feet were huge. Zap! His feet shrank, but now he was freezing cold. Zap! Now he was burning hot. Zap! Now he started rolling around like a tornado. Zap! Now he couldn't stop dancing wildly. Zap! Now he looked like he was made out of mud. Zap! Now he looked like he was made out of stone. Zap! Squidward stood on the chopping block with smoke rising from his skin. He was still tiny. "Stop!" he screamed. All these changes were extremely uncomfortable, and none of them were getting Squidward back to his normal size. "I've got an idea," Squidward said. "Let's call Mermaid Man and—" "No!" SpongeBob cried. He grabbed Squidward and picked him up. "I can't let you do that!" SpongeBob thought hard. What should he do? He couldn't leave Squidward tiny, but he couldn't get kicked out of Mermaid Man's fan club. "There must be someone else who can help," he said. "Someone smart and wise with years of life experience." Stay tuned for Chapter 8 coming up soon.